Alrighty, folks, we're now 7-1 in our last 8 NBA tier membership plays on my premium page. We had the Nuggets minus 3.5 on Wednesday, and they got the job done for us against Sacramento. And the good news is I've got another NBA tier membership play going off here for Thursday. That play's already posted and ready for access. We're also hitting at 77% in our last 13 chairman picks on my premium page as well. I also have a chairman play posted and ready for access for Thursday as well. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to my free pick video here today for Thursday, April 10th, 2025. Happy Thursday to you. Weekend's right around the corner. We are just about there. Hopefully you're having a great week. Of course, if you're joining me for the first time here today, my name is Brock Page. I've been dishing out free sports picks on YouTube since 2016. Of course, if you want to access all of my premium plays, you may want to think about signing up for my full access, all-inclusive Gold Club membership. Gold Club members get access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day, for the next 30 days. And if you don't need access to all of my premium selections, but maybe you could use like one a day, my daily best play costs just 6 cents a day for 30 days worth of access. I also have plenty of free content on my premium page as well, including my current overall win-loss record. I currently have over 2,340 members. We're signed up and active on my premium page right now. And with that, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to start off in the NBA. Knicks Pistons, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Detroit's -5, totals 227. Now, the Pistons have dropped 4 out of their last 5 games, having a tough time covering the point spread recently. Detroit failed to cover in 7 out of their last 10, just sending way too many shooters to the foul line. Detroit's allowing more free throws a game than any other team besides one. And they're facing a Knicks team who's in the top 10 in point production, top 5 in shooting from the field. Now, injury-wise, looks like Hart, Anunoby, and Robinson are going to be scratched. Stewart, Cunningham, and Harris day-to-day for Detroit. Pistons games went 60% to the over in their last 10. New York with overs recently against Boston, Milwaukee, and the Clippers. I like the Knicks +5 over 227. All right, next matchup. Cavaliers, Pacers, 7 o'clock East. Indiana's -9, totals 232.5. Now, the Pacers are 17 games over 500, 28-10 straight up at home. Indy also got the W in their last 5 straight, 8-2 straight up in their last 10. Of course, on the offensive end, the Pacers rarely turn the ball over, top 3 in shooting from the field. And they're facing a Cleveland squad who's struggled against the point spread recently. They failed to cover in 5 out of their last 7, failures to cover against the likes of Sacramento, San Antonio, and Detroit. And as solid as Cleveland's been on defense, they are in the bottom 3 in the league in blocks per game. Looks like Strus, Garland, Mobley, and Mitchell will be sitting this one out for Cleveland. I like the Pacers -9. Next matchup, Hawks-Nets, 7:30 p.m. East. Atlanta's -13, totals 229. The Hawks are 5 games under 500, losing record on the road. Of course, more recently, the Hawks dropped 6 out of their last 8, having a horrible time on the defensive end of the floor. Atlanta's allowing 120 points a game, second highest defensive field goal percentage in the entire NBA. They're facing a Brooklyn squad who does a nice job shooting from the foul line themselves, top 10 in offensive free throw percentage. Of course, as a team, the Nets got the W in 3 out of their last 5. Covers recently against the Pelicans, Mavericks, and Wizards. Russell, Johnson, and Sharp are banged up for Brooklyn. Trae Young questionable for Atlanta. Hawks games went 8-2 to the over in their last 10. Brooklyn with overs recently against the Pelicans, Raptors, and Mavericks. I like the Nets +13 over 229. Next matchup, Pelicans-Bucks, 8 o'clock East. Milwaukee's minus 15, totals 221. Now the Bucks are 46 and 34 on the year. Pelicans are 37 games under 500 themselves. Of course, more recently, the Pels are on a 4-game skid. Also took the loss in 7 out of their last 9. Pelicans allow nearly 120 points per contest, bottom 3 in 3 balls allowed per game. And they're facing a Milwaukee team who does a nice job shooting the deep ball themselves. Second in offensive three-point percentage, 6th fewest turnovers on offense. Gary Trent Jr. is making 41% of his attempts from downtown. Brook Lopez, 51% shooting from the field. Giannis and Connaughton are day-to-day for Milwaukee. Lillard still battling a calf injury. Meanwhile, for the Pelicans, Messi, Brown, Alvarado, and Olynyk are questionable for them. Pels games went 60% to the over in their last 10. Milwaukee with overs in 7 out of their last 10 themselves. I like the Bucks minus 15, over 221. All right, next and final NBA breakdown. Timberwolves, Grizzlies, 9:30 p.m. East. Memphis is minus 1, totals 233. Of course, both teams with some solid defensive play this year. Memphis is in the top 3 in the league in defensive field goal percentage, 3rd most blocks in the NBA as well. Meanwhile, Minnesota on the other side, they're giving up just 109 points a game, 3rd fewest 3 balls allowed. Now, both teams with unders in their last 3 straight, respectively. I like the under 233. Next matchup, Major League Baseball, White Sox, Guardians, 1:10 Eastern first pitch. Cleveland's minus 225, total 7.5. Gavin Williams for Cleveland, Jonathan Cannon for Chicago. Now, Cannon's got an ERA of 3.12 through a couple of starts, averaging a strikeout an inning. As much as the White Sox have struggled this year, they've actually done a pretty nice job covering the run line. Chicago's covered in 64% of their games this year. And even though they've struggled getting base runners, well, these Chicago hitters really don't strike out a whole lot at the plate, doing a great job making contact. They're averaging the 6th fewest strikeouts per game at the dish. Andrew Benintendi has an on-base percentage of 333. Nick Maton with an on-base percentage in the 300s as well. And they're going to face righty Gavin Williams, who's got a 4.50 ERA, 1.63 whip. Of course, when it comes to the run line, Cleveland's gone just 4-7 against the number to start the year. Good for just 36% in that particular category. They have not been a great run line covering team. Now, total-wise, White Sox games have gone 6-5 to the over to start the year. I like the White Sox plus 1.5, over 7.5 runs. Next game, Angels-Rays, 1:10 Eastern first pitch. Tampa Bay is minus $1.35, totals 8. Zach Littell for Tampa Bay, Jose Soriano for Los Angeles. And despite some real good numbers out of Soriano, the Angels could be in trouble when Tampa gets to their bullpen. This Angels pitching staff as a whole, they're allowing a handful of runs per game. Bottom 3 in walks per 9, having some control issues. They're facing a Tampa team who got the W in 5 of 8 at Steinbrenner Field thus far. Top 10 in hits per game. Jonathan Aranda bats .385 with an OPS of 1182. And Cam Meisner, he hits .385 himself with an OPS in the thousands as well. Now, total-wise, 5 out of the Angels' last 8 on the road did get over the total. 64% to the over for the entire season. I like the Rays minus 135, over 8. Next game, Twins-Royals, 2:10 Eastern first pitch. Kansas City's minus $1.25, totals 8. Michael Wacha for Kansas City, Bailey Ober for Minnesota. Now, Ober's off to a bit of a rough start. ERA in the 12s after a couple of outings. Of course, at the plate, the 4-8 Twins have had a tough time getting base runners. They're currently second to last in walks per game, bottom 5 in hits. They're facing a Kansas City pitching staff who's 6th in the league in runs allowed, winners of 4 out of their last 6. Of course, at the plate, Michael Garcia is batting .308. Johnny India with an on-base percentage of .365. Now, total-wise, 5 out of the Twins' last 9 road games did get over the total. I like the Royals minus $1.25 over 8. Next matchup, Brewers-Rockies, 3:10 p.m. East. Milwaukee's minus $1.15, totals 10.5. Quinn Priester for Milwaukee, Ryan Feltner for Colorado. And this Colorado pitching staff allows more hits per game than any other team. They're currently dead last in strikeouts per game on the mound as well. And they're facing a Milwaukee team who got the W in 7 out of their last 8 themselves. Jackson Chourio with 16 RBI on the season, handful of homers. And Sal Frelick's hitting .356, on-base percentage of .431. Now, 3 out of the Brewers' last 4 contests did get over the total. Colorado's 3-1 the over thus far at Coors Field. I like the Brewers minus $1.15 over 10.5. Next matchup, little AL East action. Blue Jays, Red Sox, 4:10 p.m. East. Boston's $1.15, totals 9. I'm sorry, Boston's minus $1.20, totals 9. Walker Buehler for Boston, Chris Bassett for Toronto. Now, Bassett's got a sub-1 ERA through a dozen-plus innings of work, 16 strikeouts and a 1.11 whip. Of course, at the plate, the Blue Jays are in the top 10 in hits per game. George Springer's batting .447, OPS of .1222. And Andres Jimenez, he's got an on-base percentage of .370, 22 total bases for him. And they're going to face Walker Buehler, who's certainly allowed his fair share of runs already. 8.68 ERA, 1.61 whip. These Boston pitchers are currently in the bottom 3 in hits allowed per game. Now, Boston contest went 4-2 to the over this year, 4-2 to the over at Fenway this year. I like Toronto plus $1 over 9. All right, next and final breakdown for Major League Baseball. Phillies, Braves, 7:15 East. Atlanta's minus $1.25, totals 8. Spencer Schwellenbach for Atlanta, Jesus Luzardo for Philly. Now, Luzardo's 2-0 with a 1.50 ERA. The lefty's punched out 19 batters and has a .92 whip. And I'll tell you, this Philly pitching staff, they've thrown well for the most part this year. They're 5th in fewest walks, 2nd in strikeouts. They're facing an Atlanta lineup who's in the bottom 5 in strikeouts per game at the plate. Now, no real surprise here. The Braves have certainly struggled rounding the base paths. They're a bottom 5 run-producing team. Now, total-wise, both organizations saw unders in 7 out of their last 11 respectively. I like the Phillies plus 105, under 8. With that, we're going to jump into some NHL action. Blackhawks, Bruins, 7 o'clock Eastern puck drop. Boston's minus $1.80, total 6. Jeremy Swayman for Boston, Spencer Knight for Chicago. Now, Knight's got a .269 goals against average, save percentage in the 900s. And he's facing a Boston club who lost 8 out of their last 10. Bottom 10 in defensive shots on goal. They're allowing just about 30 pucks on net a game. And goaltender Jeremy Swayman, well, he really hasn't been helping matters. He's 22 and 28 in the crease, save percentage in the 800s. Boston games went 7-3 to the over in their last 10. Chicago with overs recently against Washington, Utah, and Vegas. I like the Blackhawks plus 1.5, over 6. Next game, Red Wings, Panthers, 7 o'clock East. Florida's minus $2, totals 5.5. Sergei Bobrovsky for Florida, Cam Talbot for Detroit. Now, the Red Wings failed to cover the puck line in 4 out of their last 6 on the road. Bottom 10 in defensive shots on goal while traveling. The Red Wings are allowing 30 pucks on net a game in their travels. Unfortunately for them, the Panthers lead the league in shots on goal at home. They're getting 34 pucks on net in their own barn. Sam Reinhart has 78 points on the year, top 10 in goals. And Alex Barkov leads the roster in assists. Florida games went 7-3 to the under in their last 10. Detroit with unders in 4 out of their last 6 away from home. I like the Panthers minus 1.5, under 5.5 goals. Next game, Hurricanes Capitals, 7:30 p.m. East. Carolina's minus $1.20, total 6. Freddie Anderson for Carolina, Charlie Lindgren for Washington. And listen, both teams with the ability to score some goals. Alex Ovechkin leads humanity in total goals. Forrest Gray leads everybody. Any human who ever existed. Well, maybe there's some leagues over in Russia or Kazakhstan that... I don't think so. I think Alex Ovechkin literally leads humanity in total goals, at least the NHL. Dylan Strome, he's the team leader in assists and points. Of course, as a team, the Caps score more goals a game than any other club. And oddly enough, on the other side of things, it's actually Carolina who gets more pucks on net a game while traveling than any other roster. Seth Jarvis leads the Canes in goals. Sebastian Aho with the most points on the roster. Carolina games went 60% to the over in their last 10, 4-2 to the over in their last 6 on the road. Meanwhile, Washington saw overs in 6 out of their last 10 themselves. I like the over 6. Next matchup, Rangers Islanders, 7:30 p.m. East. The Isles are minus $1.20, totals 5.5. Ilya Sorokin for the Islanders, Igor Shesterkin for the Rangers. Igor's got a .289 goals against average, save percentage in the 900s. Of course, on the offensive end, the Rangers have done a nice job on the road. They're a top 10 goal-producing team in their travels. Artemi Panarin, he has 35 goals, 84 points. And Adam Fox with 48 assists on the year, second on the team in points. They're facing an Isles team who lost 7 out of their last 9, bottom 10 in power play goals allowed. And in their last 10 head-to-head meetings with the Rangers, the Isles took the loss in all of those gatherings except for 3. It's been all Rangers, so if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. Now, both teams with overs in 7 out of their last 10, respectively. I like the Rangers plus $1, over 5.5. Next matchup, Jets Stars, 8 o'clock East. Dallas is $1.30, totals 5.5. Jake Ottinger for the Stars, Connor Hellebuyck for Winnipeg. Hellebuck's 44-12 with a .202 goals against average. Of course, as a team, the Jets allow fewer goals a game than any other organization. They're facing a struggling Dallas team who lost their last 3 straight. And they actually gave up 14 total goals during that stretch. And when it comes to defensive play, the Stars are allowing a lot of scoring opportunities late. They're actually in the bottom 10 in third period shots on goal allowed. 3 out of the Stars' last 5 at home did stay under the total, 60% to the under in their last 10 at any location. Winnipeg games went 7-3 to the under in their last 10 themselves. I like the Jets plus $1.10, under 5.5. Next matchup, Predators Hockey Club, 9 o'clock East. Utah's minus $2, total 6. Karel Vejmelka for Utah, UC Saros for Nashville. Saros is 18-30 with a save percentage of .894. On the offensive end, the Preds have had all kinds of problems lighting up the lamp. They're currently averaging fewer goals a game on the road than any other team. They're facing a Utah club who allows just 26 pucks on net a game at home. Winners of 4 out of their last 5. Utah allowed only 1.2 goals a game on average in those victories during that stretch I just mentioned. Of course, in the net, Karel Vejmelka has a .251 goals against average, save percentage in the 900s. Now, total-wise, 4 out of Nashville's last 5 road games did fall under the total. 7-3 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Give me Utah minus 1.5, under 6. Next game, Canucks Avalanche, 9 o'clock East. Colorado's .225, totals 5.5. Mackenzie Blackwood for Colorado, Thatcher Demko for Vancouver. Demko's got just 1 shutout on the year, save percentage of .889. And on the offensive end, the Canucks are averaging just 25 shots on goal a game, second lowest in the entire NHL. They're facing a Colorado team who allows just 24 pucks on net a game in their own building. Of course, on the offensive end, the Avs are a top 5 goal-scoring team. Nathan MacKinnon has a league best 84 assists on the year. 116 points, that's also a league high. And Cale Makar's got 61 assists on the year himself. He's a plus 30. Colorado saw a handful of overs in their last 10 outings. Vancouver's 7-3 to the over in their last 10 themselves. I like the Avalanche minus 1.5, over 5.5 goals. Next game, Ducks, Kings, 10 o'clock East. LA's minus 350, totals 5.5. Darcy Kemper for the Kings, Lucas Dostal for Anaheim. Now, Dosty's got a goals against average in the threes, just one shutout in 44 starts. When it comes to offensive production, the Kings are currently a bottom 10 goal-scoring team. And they're facing a Kings squad who's tough to score against themselves. They're actually allowing fewer goals a game at home than any other club in the league. Defenseman Joel Edmondson's a plus 27. Darcy Kemper's 28-11 with a 203 goals against average. Kings games went 60% to the under in their last 10, 5-3 to the under in their last 8 at home. I like the Kings minus 1.5, under 5.5 goals. Next and final breakdown for the video. Kraken Golden Knights, 10 o'clock East. Vegas is minus 250, totals 5.5. Aiden Hill for the Knights, Joey Decord for Seattle. And the Kraken certainly had some issues with scoring opportunities. They're getting just 26 pucks on net a game on the road, bottom 10 in power play goals. And they're facing a Vegas team who's first in the league in power play chances on defense, actually limiting opposing teams to just 26 shots on goal a game. Of course, on the offensive end, the Knights are averaging nearly 31 shots on goal per contest, 6th in the league in scoring. Jack Eichel has 93 points on the year, club leader in assists. And Pavel Dorofeyev, he has a team best 33 goals. Total-wise, the Kraken saw overs in 6 out of their last 10. 4-3 to the over in their last 7 on the road. I like the Golden Knights minus 1.5, over 5.5 goals. And with that, folks, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Give me the Knicks plus 5, over 227. Pacers minus 9, getting the job done against the Cavs. Nets plus 13, over 229. Bucks minus 15, over 221. I like the under 233 in that T-Wolves Grizzlies game. Baseball, White Sox plus 1.5, over 7.5 runs. Rays minus 135, over 8. Royals minus $1.25, over 8 runs. Bucks minus $1.15, over 10.5. Toronto plus $1, over 9. Phillies plus 105, under 8. Hockey, Blackhawks plus 1.5, over 6. Panthers minus 1.5, under 5.5 goals. I like the over 6 in that Carolina-Washington matchup. Rangers plus $1, over 5.5. Jets plus $1.10, under 5.5 goals. Hockey Club minus 1.5, under 6. Avalanche minus 1.5, over 5.5 goals. Kings minus 1.5, under 5.5. And give me the Golden Knights minus 1.5, over 5.5 goals. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium page. And if you do end up getting a membership here today on my premium site, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships during that time frame, absolutely free. It's going to be included with your membership. That's why I was telling folks that Gold Club package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. Gives you access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. But most importantly, folks, got to thank you for joining me right here on the free video. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, folks, happy Thursday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium page.